like the removal of agency and how that's more harmful than, for example, like robbing a rich person, you know? Do you want me to connect why I said it like that?
Yeah, what do you mean when you say that?
Yeah, because I was thinking that there's like basically if I take $100 bill from a billionaire, that's still stealing, but in terms of the harm being done, it's potentially zero or incredibly minimal, right? But we work under the assumption that if you rape a person, um, most likely the harm wouldn't be minimal. So that's the difference that I see there in those two instances.
Yeah, I guess. Are we trying to rank like if one is okay and one's not okay? Or are we trying to rank like relatively like harms here? Like,
Because I was asking you if you think that's like equivalent to physical assault in the sense of like the, because you said that the issue is that basically when you rape someone, you're harming them in a way that we might have more of an issue with than other times where removing agency is more the issue, you know? I feel like your argument is that with something like rape, it is the removal of agency, but also the amount of harm that is being done that is the real issue. When my perspective is just that I am only interested in the removal of agency. You get what I'm
okay,
saying?
yeah, I mean, for the purpose of this conversation, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Okay. So that's why I was asking like about the physical violence, but if you feel like that's really tangential and you don't get what I'm where I'm going with that, so we can just drop that.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I think it's okay.
Okay. So, okay. Let me read my notes for a second.
Go for it.
Okay, yeah. So I think you're on Twitter a lot more than me because I don't have Twitter. Do
Good for
you
you.
feel like women or men or people have a wrong understanding of what rape is?
A wrong understanding of what rape is. In general, I think people's understanding is probably fairly decent.
Okay. The vibe I've been getting from conversations that I've been
Hello?
having, and this is why I kind of
Was is
started really disliking.
immer mad. Ja. Was? Das weiß ja nicht, du kannst ja immer den Regelknopf drücken wahrscheinlich. Ich hab mein Band gerade gemacht. Ich müsste jetzt lügen, das will ich nicht. Mhm. Äh. Mann.
Feel the thorns
Schwieriger.
embrace.
Chill halt nicht auf der Lane. Was, um einen Kill zu geben, oder? Ja. Geschichten aus dem Paulanergarten, das ist, glaube ich. Geschichten aus dem Paulanergarten. Ich bin nie fröhlich, ich kann auch, ich bin halt immer gelogen, wenn ich fröhlich bin. Ne? Ich bin einfach kein fröhlicher Mensch, das hat nichts Besonderes anders oder so. Na, wahres MF. EMF. EMF. Ach, Hannes. Ach, Hannes. Da prefert mich eh nie und dann Triple A, die nehme ich das. Da prefert mich eh nie und dann Triple A, die nehme ich das. Da prefert mich. Geht's einfach Borg First Item. Let's roll. Nö. Also jetzt, hast du mir gesagt, aber. Was soll noch ein Kassadin OTP? Was ist denn da los? Kannst du schon die aggressive Musik machen, das macht ja eh nichts. Dann dive ich den permanent ab Level 2. Einfach Tower Dive. Holy moly, moly, moly. Ja, was kannst du denn? Kannst du das broken? Macht Doran Shield, Träne Second und dann kauft er dieses Vor-Item von Rod. Dann kann ich den, dann kann er in meiner Ulti stehen und direkt gegen. Was? Das ist Rod oder was? Ja, Rod ist viel zu gut auf Kassadin. Was, die Träne willst du nicht bauen, was? Nee, du kaufst die Träne und dann die Katalysator. Du bist eigentlich unfruchtbar halt in der Mitte. Gegen die meisten, also nicht gegen Adela, aber gegen Apela bist du unfruchtbar.
So much more to see.
Kannst du machen, wenn du Killpressure hast auf den gegnerischen Midlaner. Wenn du Electrocute und Ding spielst, geht es schon, aber Victor ist halt nicht so squishy, tatsächlich. Wegen... Wahrscheinlich eher nicht. Oh, bitte nicht, ja. Oh, egal.
Wait until my seeds take root.
Minions have spawned.
The forest holds many surprises.
Ah, doch ein Schild, ne?
Come closer.
Hä, wieso hat der schon wieder seine E ready? Ich habe ein Spell gemacht. Hä?
Take careful steps.
Hab ich irgendwas vergessen? Hä? Hey, irgendwas stimmt ja nicht. Wie oft hat der E weg? Macht denn der Momo hier, Alter? Ist der Viego da unten? Nee, ne?
An enemy has been slain.
Ach, ich einen Tower Shot. Nee, fucking Shot.
An ally has been slain.
Ich weiß ja nicht, Momo läuft so meine Lane. Ich bin schon wieder ein Level behind. I don't know. Why? Bringt mir nichts. Was soll das mir bringen? Auch ein Level behind sein, oder was? Macht 0 Damage.
Just a harmless flower. Wait until my seeds take root. The forest holds many surprises. Come closer.
Muss mal einer erklären, wie die Minion-Fokus da gerade zusammengekommen ist. Schon wieder, Alter. Ich will es gar nicht wissen. Ist eigentlich möglich.
Venture off the beaten path.
Oh.
Take careful steps.
Krass.
A promising garden.
Nämlich da einfach 0.
Things aren't always what they seem.
Alter, ich miss 2 Creeps, Mann. Absolutely no reason. Was ist denn los, Alter? Ach, weil ich den gekauft hab, right.
So much more to see. closer.
Welcome back,
Venture
huh?
off the beaten path. You have slain
Ja, komm. Ich hab's 20 Mal gepinkt.
careful steps.
Ich hab's 1000 Mal gepinkt. Ach, ist doch egal.
An ally has
Ah.
been slain. An ally has been slain.
A promising garden. Things are such a busy world. So much more to see. Just a harmless flower. Wait until my seeds take root. The forest holds many surprises.
Das hat DP muss noch. Schlechter Back für mich, ja.
Come closer.
Oh, warum denn? Warum? Warum ist mir jedes Mal mein Jungler alles vernichten, Alter? Verpiss dich doch von meiner Lane, Alter. Hast mir ein Level geklaut und sonst nix in dem Scheiß-Game, Mann. Verpiss dich doch! Dumme Nutte, ey. So hart dieses Game, ey, I guess. So dumm, Mann. Kein Grund, dass der Lane werf, Alter.
Things are
Was ist denn Busch?
such a busy world.
What? Ja, ich kann sagen, Alter.
So much more to see.
Unterschätzen das. Das darf halt niemals. Ja, kann ich nicht mehr stehen. warum ignoriert er mich? Warum ignoriert er mich?
Holds many surprises.
Ach, so ein Witz.
Shut down. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
Just wait. Death is in bloom.
Ich sehe, der Digga. Ist doch mir scheißegal. Was will der Vigo machen, Alter? Ich hab kein Kill-Pressure auf mich. Ja, okay, nevermind. Da muss ich umdrehen, weil die WF von unten kommt. Ach, was drauf. Was kann das mehr? Epic und den Müll zusammen, Alter, geht bis auf den Sack.
Your team
Das nimmt ja mein Tower. Glaubt mir ein Level, take mein Tower, glaubt mir Playthings. Es ist so ridiculous, Mann. Ich wird einfach gebannt. Einfach AFK gehen müsst ihr jetzt mit Laner, Mann. Ich bin so hart verkauft, Alter. Dein ganzes Leben wird verkauft, Alter. Das ist so ein Witz, Alter. Oh, 5 Wege in der Mitte, Alter.
Such a busy world.
Das gammelt 30 Minuten Mitte, Alter. Ohne Sinn und Verstand, ey. Was das Kind, Alter. Digga, was ist mit diesem Amovo, Alter? Und wer hat überhaupt Pings? Ja, weiß schon, dass ich ihm da nicht helfen kann, ne? Wenn die da beide da stehen. Kann ich nicht einfach auch noch sterben, Alter, mit Liantris dort? Ach, das war Shen-Ult, oder was? Ich Chase, warum kann der nicht pressern oben? Ah, super. Und was ist der weggegangen? Nix, oder was? Er muss nicht zu mir kommen. Ach, ich hab keine Lust mehr auf diese Scheiße, Alter.
The forest holds many surprises.
Ich will nicht mehr spielen. Lass mich raus. Ich will einfach noch raus, Mann.
Come closer.
Ja, der. Unbelievable. Wenn 4 Sekunden überlebt, kommt GP.
Take careful steps.
Hat der Varus davor?
The hub.
Ist low.
A promising garden. Things aren't always what they seem.
Jetzt kaufen.
Such a busy world.
Baron machen.
So much more to see. The forest holds many surprises. Come closer. Take careful steps. A promising garden.
Was du der komische Kassadin. Mit 4er Stack Ult, der kann nur noch einmal ulten. Ah, dann ist nicht. Oh, sehr geil, mit dem Melee jetzt. Aber wir haben Shen Ult und Kassa ist raus. Aber Drake, Mann. Auf jeden Fall den Mitding noch kriegen, Tower. Zu Baron müssen. Können wir über den Tower nicht? Wir sollen noch chillen, ne? Das wird auch hart von der Zeit, oder? Kann doch niemals los sein. Warum ist das Momo Botlane?
Forest.
Wo ist denn das? Was ist das?
Rampage. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Hat noch 2 Ultis. Außer Dickkill.
Venture off the beaten path. A promising garden.
Has been slain.
Things aren't always what they seem.
An ally has been slain.
So much more.
Kann ich eigentlich Wissen verlieren, wenn der Stand und dotted ist. Ja, ist okay. Rigo bleibt also unsichtbar. Das heißt, das ist gar nicht.
Has destroyed a turret.
Ja.
Let me give you a hug. Come closer. Venture off the beaten path.
Baut man gerade, glaube ich, nicht.
Take careful steps.
So, ne? Die das Damage machen. Das nervt die Runde nachher.
The discourse around this. It seems like people are very focused on the way that the harm that rape has in terms of they'll say that it's violating and traumatic and will scar you for life and all these things, and they are true in many cases. They're not always true. But then I feel like maybe, and again, I don't think I'm well versed enough in the internet world to have an understanding of this, which is why I'm asking you. But I think maybe people conflate having negative sexual experiences with consent. So when I hear about men being very worried that they would have sex with a woman and they would feel like she consented, and then they have a negative interaction with her, and then she claims she's been raped because she recontextualized that experience in her head. I'm very open to the possibility that if there's some misunderstanding around the fact that you can have an incredibly negative and even recontextualized sexual experience, that does still not mean that you did not consent to the experience. And maybe there's a misunderstanding around that in our culture right now. Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not 100% sure what exactly the. Or yeah, I think I don't think I disagree with anything you're saying. I'm just not entirely sure what you're saying, I guess.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try to be less wordy and less convoluted. I just really care about how my speech can come across. So
sure. I don't understand. Like, are you just trying to say that sometimes people can recontextualize a sexual experience and it could be bad when they recontextualize it? Like, I don't disagree with that. If that's.
I more feel like, because I've had a conversation where someone was really trying to explain to me why that a lot of men and even maybe young men are very, very worried about the concept of false allegations.
Okay.
And I don't really believe in it being a statistically significant issue that women lie about it to gain means, but I can see women misunderstanding their experiences and then labeling it as rape, and how that could be harmful if we don't understand what rape actually is. Is that less convoluted?
Yeah, I guess that could happen. I don't think that happens very often, but yeah, I could understand that people are worried about it happening, yeah.
Then what do you think the problem is?
I don't think there's much of a problem at all around false allegations. I don't talk about that much. I think that's generally kind of a thing that red pillars and people have like kind of cooked up a lot.
Okay, so maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but I'm distinctly remembering the conversation we had around stealthing and how I felt like in your arguments there was a lot of anxiety around someone being accused of raping a woman when, as far as they were concerned, there was full consent. So is that something that you're no longer worried about?
Fuck. I would have to remember. I feel like I need to remember what our conversation was about. Because this is just not. It's just not
Fair.
something that I talk about. I just the false rape accusation thing. I think is like so incredibly rare, and it's so much more likely to happen on the other end where they aren't reported or an accusation is given and it's not believed. That this isn't something I typically talk about.
Then I'm sorry. I felt like it was related to things that I've heard you say, especially because, like, as I said, I was watching some of the stream yesterday, and there seems to be a lot of type of discussion in your chat about, like, Brittany feeling like her worldview has always been coddled and no one's ever challenged her and stuff like that. And I felt like that was related, but maybe it's not. And if you don't remember what we talked about a year ago,
Well,
it's
I guess
maybe fair.
let's explore this more. I don't like. I feel
Okay,
like
sure.
Britney's thing had to do with I don't think Britney's thing had anything to do with like false accusations or recontextualizing a sexual experience. No.
So let me be very clear. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that Brittany was talking about false allegations.
Uh-huh.
I do. Do you? Okay, maybe I'll go like this. Do you think a woman can experience? Can a woman? Do you think a human can feel that they were raped, but that the person who they had sex with was not a rapist?
Yeah, for sure, of course.
Awesome. I do too. So, if that's the case, it's possible that a person would come out of a sexual encounter with the experience that they were hurt or their agency were removed or they were even violated, but that doesn't necessarily condemn the person that they had sex with. But
Yeah.
the issue is, it would be when they do turn to that person and they say, you harmed me in this way.
Sure.
Right. So basically, can you tell me briefly, just so I can address it without tangents, like what was the issue with Britney as far as you were concerned? Like, what's the convention?
Well, I think the issue is that I was curious. I was having a conversation on how much does like your background mediate like trauma responses to sexual assault, and
Yeah.
some people feel like it doesn't at all. That you're always going to have like traumatic responses, irrespective of what happens.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Well, I wouldn't call it stupid. I know you're being mean.
It's stupid.
Okay. But the yeah, but that was the conversation. But then when some
Okay,
people
I
hear
see.
that, some people get the assumption that like somebody's telling like women like, oh, you just need to like get over your sexual assault or whatever.
Okay, then I think maybe this will relate to where I was going to go anyway. So I feel like for me this has more to do with how you, as a very large content creator, that most of their base is predominantly men, how certain things you say can be interpreted. So from the very short
Yeah,
clip
I've
that
seen
I
this. I've
saw-
heard this, and I understand that some people are this way, but I just don't engage with this this much because like you can cut out like 15 seconds of anything and get a certain type of feeling about me. Like half of Twitter hates me right now because they think that I like hate men and I think that like women are always correct about everything. But like if you're cutting 30-second or like two-minute clips depending on the conversation, you can pull whatever opinion you want. I'm either like the biggest feminist that loves women in the world, or I'm literally like a woman hating like pro-rape like defender that thinks that men get false allegations. It just depends on like what you're pulling for 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, so this leads me to the question I was gonna have, like, about the other topic anyway. So this is great.
Yeah, go for it.
How much of someone's content do you need to watch to be able to critique something that they have said?
It's super gonna depend on what you're trying to
Okay.
critique, right? Like if somebody gets really mad at somebody and it's like you're an N-word, and they call them the N-word, I probably don't need to watch too much to like critique that statement. But if somebody's having like a more complicated or sophisticated conversation about a more nuanced topic, then I'm probably gonna need to dig in a little bit.
Okay, so if I saw your many tweets about the stealthing discourse, or you don't remember that? Okay, so if
I remember spelling discourse. I do, yes.
Okay, I'll just use this recent example. If I only saw a clip of you asking, was it whether women who are more sexually promiscuous would have a different experience to rape than like a Christian woman? Was it something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think in the context of like a philosophical or just like an interesting discussion, there's nothing wrong with that exchange, right? But depending on how a person, like, I think that if I would have seen that, and with certain biases that I have in terms of how I feel your advocacy is, I would think, oh, this really leans into some like rape apologia stuff. Not that you're doing rape apologia, but that this will be used to bolster arguments of rape apologia, right?
Sure.
So basically, I guess, and again is my question, like, because you have watched not many, I think basically one, and that panel had to do with you. But you have watched me on a panel, and you know none of my content. All you know of me is like our interactions on panels together. So when you say that girl is crazy or that girl doesn't understand X, Y, and Z, but you don't know my positions, like, how does that relate to how people do that to you, you know? Because you have like thousands of hours of content. So if
Well, I
I
mean,
want
that's going to
to
relate to
critique-
like the conversations that we have at that particular point in time, I guess, right?
Okay, so just so in the future, and again, I'm not trying to get you. I'm just genuinely interested in your perspective on this. If I want to criticize you on like,
Ja, ich habe noch nichts anderes zu trinken da. Und das Wasser irgendwie schmeckt komisch bei uns, das Mahn. Den Lieder noch ein.
the way
Das
that
ist
I feel
Verantwortung, ne?
you're contributing to negative stereotypes about women, for example. How much content I should be watching, or does it? Because I'm gonna tell you my opinion on this is not complete, but I'm thinking it might not necessarily matter as long as I'm not saying Destiny is a misogynist. I'm just saying I watched this specific content of.
Du hast gestern gesagt schon, dass die nicht so nice war, ne? Ach, Johannes. Aber bist du da alleine auf Montage oder was?
His and
Was? Wenn du was nicht alleine kannst oder was? Johannes, ich lebe in Stack Overflow, ich kann gar nichts alleine. Ich brauche nichts von ChatGPT, glaube ich. Ach, Johannes. Was ist das komische Internet-Ding vom Ding, oder was meinst du? Von deinem Elon-Boy. Oder weiß ich nicht. Weiß ich nicht. Ja, okay. Soll ich swappen oder was?
Feel the thorns embrace.
Broken Champion. Jackson. What? But why? It's rough, yeah. Noch gar nicht, der wird mich wahrscheinlich auch wieder cheesen wie so eine kleine Turbonutte. Level 1 probably schon, ne? Ich meine, das ist ja meistens ja nicht das Problem, die Lane. Der Road halt einfach irgendwann. Und ist eigentlich nur noch am MS pingen die ganze Zeit, Mann. Das Problem. Oh.
So much more to see.
Auf jeden Fall aufpassen, dass sie nicht den Viertel cheesen oder so.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Seconds until minions spawn.
Charge the beaten path.
Ja, da kommt der ist bestimmt der Twitch und Cheese mit, oder? War der Grütze geskillt, oder?
Minions have spawned.
Promising garden. Wait until my seeds take over. The harvest is upon us.
Alter, wenn ich noch ein Minion ist, gehe ich AFK. Und hab reingemisst, Alter. What the fuck?
Things aren't always what they seem. Such a busy world. The forest holds many surprises.
Ich habe meine eh nicht auf Smart Cards.
Just a harmless flower. Come closer. So much more to see.
First blood. An ally has been slain.
Na, game's over. 50 nicht mehr. Viel verlangt!
Slain.
So cringe.
A promising target.
Will doch einfach. Ist einfach cringe. Ist einfach cringe.
Wait until my seeds take root.
An ally has been slain.
Things aren't always
Ich hoffe, Cancer rappt deine komplette Family Twitch. Warum? Warum?
such a busy world.
Wie kann die ganze Welt sterben? Nein! Der Hack hat meine Fähigkeit!
Similar surprise.
so dumm. Ist einfach so dumm. Ja, der Switch ist irgendwo unten, ne, ist hier. Ah, ich mach nur Damage oder was? Das ist Kette Brosting! Das ist einfach Double Hit!
Take careful steps.
Ja, ich kann nicht spielen. Der Hacker.
Enemy killing.
Promising garden. Wait until my seeds take root. Things aren't finished. Such a busy world. The forest holds many surprises.
Das Ding nicht kriegen.
This marvelous flower.
Ich kann ja die komplette Frontline killen, ohne sich zu touchen.
So much more to see.
Has been slain.
Das ist schlecht.
Enemy double kill. An ally has been slain.
Venture off the beaten path. Take careful steps.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Promising garden. Just wait.
Das ist doch alles wasted time.
Wait until
Rewarded oder was? Max?
Just a harmless flower. Shut down.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Closer. So much more to see.
An enemy is legendary. Shut down.
Promising garden.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Wait until my seeds take root. Things
An ally has been slain.
What?
such a busy world.
Your turret has been destroyed.
The forest holds many surprises. until my seeds take root. Things aren't always what they seem. Such a busy man. Shut down.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
The forest holds many surprises. None will escape my grasp.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Kill the life.
Alle Latte, Mann!
Come closer.
Your turret has been destroyed.
First. venture off the beaten path.
And my critique is about these specific things that he said. Do you disagree with that?
I guess it just depends on. It depends on the topic. Okay, if somebody says something, let's say that I watch a clip and somebody says something like, I think that women can take more responsibility to avoid sexual assault, depending on the situation of placement. Let's say somebody says something like that, right? That's like a highly sus statement, right? That's going to throw up a ton of red flags. I'd probably have to investigate a little bit more to find out how I feel about that statement. If I'm talking to Brittany Simon, the lady that I was talking to yesterday, and she says that, I'm probably going to almost completely agree with her. If I'm on Fresh and Fit and Myron says it, I'm probably actually going to push back against that statement. I'm going to say, I don't think sexual assault actually tends to happen the way that you think it does. It's not like a woman is walking down the street and has a dress on and just gets raped. Like usually it's people that you know, like I'll probably explain that. But Brittany knows these things. So when she says it, there's a way different like family of association when she's saying that, in terms of she's probably thinking she's giving more like reasonable advice, things that I would probably agree with, as opposed to like a hardcore red pillar saying, I'd probably like, okay, hold on, let's take a step back and analyze like what exactly is going on. But things like sexual assault and rape, those are like really, really complicated. Or like if we're talking about like racism or like big systemic things, these are things where we're gonna need a lot more context. If it's just like a one-off like analysis of a situation, like, oh, I think Rittenhouse was in self-defense or not, or oh, I think that this gym video, the guy was creepy or not, I'll probably be a little bit more harsh on those judgments for like particular scenarios. But if somebody's giving a really broad analysis of something and making really broad statements, I'm probably going to need to know a little bit more about them before I move into like hardcore condemnation mode. But I'm sure there are some people that I've agreed with because what they said, if I'm charitable enough, works, like Mr. Girl, that I shouldn't have agreed with. And I'm sure there are some people that I probably disagree with, where people, this will happen unfortunately with Jordan Peterson sometimes, where he'll say something and I'm like, this is so stupid. But then I dig in a little bit more and I'm like, oh, okay, well, given what he's talking about, actually, I think I kind of like, I can understand what he's saying now when he means when he says this, and I kind of agree with that now. So it just
Like the video I sent you.
Which video?
I sent you him talking about sophisticated and unsophisticated women and.
Oh yeah, I think that's a video that because I know his psych background and everything. But even without it, I think that video was pretty reasonable. Everything so I was like, this makes sense. Yeah.
Really? Okay. I think considering what you said, and like knowing more about Jordan Peterson's content and some of his own like personal biases, I'm surprised that you're actually willing to take it so, I guess, face value in a way.
I think Peterson, when he's talking politics, he's just a fucking moron. But I think Jordan Peterson probably has some of the best stuff to say and advice relating to women that I think I'd ever heard somebody say online, like pre 2019. He was really good at talking about the differences between men and women when it came to things like negotiations, when it came to things like different big 5 traits that would predispose you to certain things, and he would talk about how in his personal practice how he would work with women to overcome some of these things, and that if you are a woman, it's good to be aware of like potential deficiencies in certain traits that will hurt you in a workplace, navigating those environments. I thought all of that advice was really good. Now when he's talking systemically or politically, he's a fucking retard, but his personal advice I think was usually pretty on point. And again, if we want to revisit that video about the sophisticated, unsophisticated women, we can go through it if you want. We can watch it now. I'm not doing anything else. But I thought that everything he said was like pretty much on point. Yeah. Do you want? If you want, you can look at it again. And we can.
I'd love to.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Just shoot me the link again, and we can watch it. We can start it at the same time.
Okay. That I don't want to poison the well too much, but it was interesting because I sent you that, and then I ended up watching a little bit back, and the discern like I was steel manning him. I was steel manning him in my head to try to like not take him out of context. And then I watched back, and it turns out that the biases that I had were completely correct, and like I still manned him, even though he was making the implications I was worried that he was making anyway. So I just thought it was funny that I decided to take him in face value, and he's very good at asking you to take him at face value and then like inserting a bunch of shit in it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Are you? I'm. Turn this on. Let me know when you're ready to go, and I can start this as soon as you're ready.
I need to watch your stream for this, right?
Or we can just start it at the same time.
No, I'll just watch. It's fine.
Okay, tell me when to stop, and I can start.
Then
this.
I'll just mute the call.
If you want to. Okay, I'll watch about 2 minutes of this and things will be blinking. Okay.
Cool.
3, 2, 1, boom.
It's like you're not sophisticated enough to. And I saw this in my clinical practice all the time. You know, I had lots of women in my clinical practice who were abused serially. And, you know, they were generally stunningly unsophisticated in their conduct. And I'm not trying to blame the victim. I'm just saying that sophisticated women, and those are often those they've had a lot of good relationships with men, brothers and fathers in particular. Sophisticated women signal to men who are getting a little pushy, in no uncertain terms, very early in the pushing game, that no is the answer, right? And they do that. If you do that really early on in the investigation, you don't have to use much force. But unsophisticated women, they can't do that at all. They don't know how. And then what happens is they run into an unsophisticated guy. He's too dumb to pick up any clues. And then by the time she really wants to say no, she's already on the bed. I'll give you an example of this. You know, I had one client who was coerced in her account into a sexual encounter by a door-to-door salesman. You know, typical pornographic fantasy setup. So this young guy is going around door-to-door selling whatever he's selling. So he's not one of the world's high-status males, let's put it that way. And, you know, and I suppose he's probably got all sorts of fantasies running through his pornography-addled brain. And so he comes to the door and she's in the house and she's a reasonably attractive young woman and he's friendly. And, well, the first thing she does is invite him in. Now, that's stupid. She's alone. She doesn't know who he is at all. And she invites him in. Well, he thinks, oh, my God, what is she at? You know, maybe she really likes me. And you already said that men, and this is especially true if they're narcissistic and immature, radically overestimate the degree to which a woman's attention is signaling sexual availability for obvious reasons. And so he's thinking, oh my God, this is my big chance. And so then he starts to press her, and she has no tools at her disposal at all because she has no idea how to signal no. And let's say she's agreeable and neurotic with a bit of a history of abuse. And the next thing she knows, she finds herself on the couch, you know, 3/4 undressed. And then the question is, well, is that rape? And, well, then that's the question. That's when the police come in and the lawyers come in and, you know, you spend the next 3 years trying to figure out whether or not that's rape. But it's so my point with all that is that It's an open question how much protection women need from the males around them. And then it's an open question exactly how to construe the crime of irresponsible access to a young woman from a site.
Okay.
How that's more harmful than, for example, like yeah, now robbing
Oh,
a
uh,
rich
wait,
connects to his point that like making rape as a property crime is better than having rape be a crime against a woman.
wait. If you're gonna summarize it like that, I need to listen to what he actually said. Hold on. Hold on.
Sure, go back. It's
1 second.
literally what he said.
Wait, go back? You think he already said that?
He did say that. I
Wait.
can give you the exact timestamp. That was like the. Well, to be fair to Jordan Peterson, he said, we should consider that there were a lot of advantages at making rape. Sorry, I'm being condescending. But yeah, he did say that.
Wait, he hasn't said that in this yet. I need to listen more, right? For him to say it.
You need to go back. He's making the point for it.
Wait, so I listened to him say that?
No. Okay. So this segment that we watched,
Yes.
right, is just him going on a tangent, as he often does. But the greater segment of this video of his was him just making an argument that we should consider that there was value in.
Okay,
making
I'm going
rape
to
against
listen to
women.
some of this. 12550 is rape a property crime?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, give me 1 sec, or give me 2 minutes. I'm listening to this.
To a long-term partnership, obviously, on the male front, because you want to be assured of paternity. And so, you know, these are very intense games that men and women play with each other, and they're no-holds-barred games because everything's at stake. But again, it devolves down to this issue of being able to say no, even under intense temptation and provocation. So I don't know how it is that we start teaching young women. Well, we can just start by not lying to them about absolutely everything, which is what we do now. But I don't know how it is that young women can be taught that the most potent weapon they have is their ability to say no, you know, and that's actually a weapon of formidable force, and that it does nothing but confer status upon them. You know, and the fact that you said already that what you see is that it's the obviously high status, high desirable women who are figuring this out first is an indication of that, because obviously they're the ones that are going to be able to wield that power in the most effective possible manner. But that doesn't mean that it's not useful for women farther down the hierarchy. And you know, you also said something about women are enjoined to believe they have to be sexually accessible to make themselves successful on the dating market, but I don't believe that's true at all. I think that's a myth. I think that,
Thank you, the timestamp.
you know, if you have nothing else.
Oh, hold on. Okay, let me listen 1 second.
Well, here's something else that's worth pondering. You know, you talked about one of the advantages of the sexual revolution was the transformation of the idea that rape was a property crime, let's say, into a crime against the woman herself. And I would say, look, I have plenty of sympathy for that perspective. And I think it's fundamentally true, but I'm going to push back because, you know, this is all very complicated. You know, it isn't obvious to me that offers women enough defense. You know, and so the counter argument might be, if untrammeled sexual access to a young woman is a crime, in order for that to be recognized as a crime properly, it has to be viewed as something that will bring the males on her side to her defense in principle. Now, maybe not, right? Because you could say, well, maybe we could set up a society where merely, quote, transgressing the rights of a woman to say no is sufficient. But it's not obvious to me that that's sufficient. Like, maybe sufficient means not only do you violate the integrity of the woman in a fundamental sense, but you enrage all of her male protectors. And then that's enough of a barrier, because God only knows how much barrier we need. And obviously, well, you just laid out a bunch of problems, especially now that the pill introduces, and we should stress that. The problem that women have in saying no once they're on the pill is that it's instantly personal. And that means the woman has to deliver a pretty hard blow. And that's especially problematic if she's somewhat potentially interested in the guy, right? How do I say no without hurting his feelings, alienating him, making him into an enemy, looking like a prude? And I mean, when you're 16, you don't know the answer to any of those questions. Like, you're not sophisticated enough to. And I saw this in my clinical practice all the time. You know, I had lots of women in my clinic.
Okay, pause it. Wait, so what is he saying that you think is disagreeable here? I'm curious. Hello? Oh, she turned her stuff off completely.
Okay. Do you think that someone can imply or bolster an idea without saying, I support this?
Yeah, of course.
Hello? Yeah. Wait, you can't hear me?
Hello, hello?
Hello?
Okay, hi, I can hear you now. Your thing was deafened. Okay, what's that? What's the
Sorry.
question? Okay.
Okay. Do you think someone can bolster a point or imply something without saying, I 100% support this point?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So Jordan Peterson didn't say, I think making rape a property crime against men, rape of women, a property crime against men is what I want. He just said, I'm very sympathetic to the point of rape being a crime against the woman, but I'm not sure that that's good enough to protect women. Do
Okay.
you think that's sincere?
Yes. Compared to the alternative that he like views women as property and he's just masquerading as a psychologist. Yeah, I think what he's saying, everything made sense to me. You can tell me if there's a part that didn't seem, I guess, coherent there, but.
Okay. Very quickly. I understood what he said. So you're saying it's coherent to you that for him, he thinks there's value in making rape a property crime against men?
Property crime against men?
Yes, a woman is being raped, and then you
Prosecute?
persecute or
Prosecute.
prosecute? Sorry, you prosecute them for doing a property crime against their husband or father.
No. That's not what he's saying at all. What he's
is what he's
saying.
saying.
No. Hold on. So what he's saying is that for any legal system to carry sufficient weight, you probably need men bought into the system as well. And what he's saying is he's not fully convinced that men are sympathetic to the plights of women when it comes to rape. But men tend to care about property a lot. So if you make rape a property crime, now you've incensed men in that if rape is a property crime, I don't know if I believe this, but this is what he's saying. He's saying that men would be more invested in the outcomes of rapes if they viewed it as a crime that they had more familiarity with, essentially. It didn't have to do with like a woman gets raped so her husband gets to sue because that's his property. It just has to do with treating your person as property and saying if somebody violates your property, then it counts as a crime, yeah.
So if a woman is being raped, Jordan Peterson's solution is saying instead of it being a violent crime against a human, we should make it a property crime against that woman because that would make men more amicable to it.
Essentially,
you're
yes, yes.
And you think that's what he said?
I know that's what he said. That is what he said.
Then why did he bring up male protectors?
What do you mean bring up male protectors?
He said that, and we can watch it again, but he said that he's not sure that having the concept of like a rape just being a crime against a woman is powerful enough. So what he wants to do is make it a crime that would anger the men in her life.
No. It's not anger the men
He
in her life.
literally said that.
That's.
I'm quoting.
Do you? Okay, if
Do
you want, we can go
me to
back and.
pull the
Yeah, go. Yeah,
transcript?
yeah, yeah. Okay, we can go back to the specific time if you want. I know what he's saying here. What he's saying is that if rape is treated as rape, which is a thing that generally, the way that it comes out, women deal with generally, that men aren't very emotionally bought into that proposition that rape is bad. That's just not, because it's like a lot of men just can't relate. But if it's a crime against a person, and a person is your property, you are your own property, men do relate more to things like men love talking about, oh my God, if you break into my house, I'm gonna shoot and kill you. I'm gonna protect my last castle. I'm gonna fucking stand my ground. I'm gonna shoot and kill. Like, that's a thing that men plug into more. So if rape is treated as property crime, it gets them to buy into the concept more. That's the argument that he's making. Yeah.
So, if you would give me 2 minutes to look for the exact quote that I'm looking for, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, it's going to be pretty hard to fight me out of this one, though, because I feel like I understand his point pretty well, and if you're just going to give me, like, one sentence...
We can rewatch the whole
Sure,
thing
yeah, we
again.
can yeah,
I'm
go,
pretty
yeah.
confident about this as well, so I'm not particularly, like, scared of sitting
Okay.
on this, you know?
Sure.
Ja.
Cool.
Ja, ich habe noch nichts gesagt.
Okay. You're waiting for me then?
Yeah,
You
wait,
said
was
you
that... Were you,
rewatched it.
oh,
I'm
did,
so confused.
wait, oh, I thought I was waiting for you to give me the quote, which, if I rewatch it, I'll come
You
to the
said
same
you
opinion.
didn't want a quote.
I just said that if it's just going to be like a one-line thing where he says
Oh
something
my
like
God.
men in her lives, and you're like, look, he means the men that own her. I'm going to say, no, I don't think that's a fair characterization of what he's saying. But I can,
No.
okay,
Do you
I'll
wanna watch the whole thing?
yeah, I'll listen to the whole thing again. Yep, hold on.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, here's something else that's worth pondering. You know, you talked about one of the advantages of the sexual revolution was the transformation of the idea that rape was a property crime, let's say, into a crime against the woman herself. And I would say, look, I have plenty of sympathy for that perspective. And I think it's fundamentally true. But I'm going to push back because, you know, all this is all very complicated. You know, it isn't obvious to me that that offers women enough defense. You know, and so the counter argument might be if untrammeled sexual access to a young woman is a crime, in order for that to be recognized as a crime properly, it has to be viewed as something that will bring the males on her side to her defense in principle. Now, maybe not, right? Because
Okay, is this the line that you had problems with? Or is that the one that you think is proving your point?
One of them.
Okay, so he's saying bring the males on her side to her defense in principle. The idea is getting men on board with being, like, with viewing your rape as something that's bad. That's what he's saying.
Okay, so you're saying he doesn't want it to be a property crime against the men?
No.
He's just saying men don't care about women being raped.
Yes.
But if you tell them it's a property crime, they will care?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say that that's true.
Okay, I think that's, by the
I
way,
mean,
hold
it's
on, just to
better
be
than
clear,
a property
real quick,
crime
real
thing,
quick, real
but-
quick, real quick.
Yeah,
I would not say this is a charitable reading. I would say this is an obvious reading, in my opinion, but go ahead.
Okay, sure. So, every person that I have spoken to, and Sam Cedar made a video about this as well, that wasn't the interpretation that we got. Seemed pretty obvious to a lot of other people. And
Well,
maybe we're
I
all
understand
stupid
that
and
because
you're the only smart one.
Peterson breaks a
Um,
lot of progressive brains, and that he can say 1 + 1 = 2, and there's going to be like 52 video essays about how that's not necessarily true in like non-Euclidean spaces or something. Like,
So
yeah.
you really think that's like that he said 1 + 1 = 2 there?
I think what he just said, I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I understand the validity. The argument is valid. I don't know if the
Valid?
yes, I don't know if the premises are true, but if he's saying that if it is the case that men can relate to property crime more than they can to the sexual assault of a woman, then making rape a property crime is more likely to have men come to the defense, like judicially or societally, for women when it happens. That's the argument he's making. That's plainly obvious to me.
Do you think it's possible that in the same way that you criticize people for having biases that obscure them, you might also have that issue? with
Hold
this?
on. Okay, wait. Oh shit. Hold on. Sorry, I got triggered. Let me give me a minute.
I apologize.
No, you're fine. Don't worry. It's all good. Let me. If you're going to claim that I have a bias, I think you're going to have to point in the text to something that I'm missing or interpreting incorrectly. I think my interpretation is strong, and I think I can support it with the text. If you want, we can go through the transcript and we can both write like a 2-paragraph thing on supporting each of our arguments. If you want to do that, I have nothing going on today. I can do this if you want to do. Well, I have to do this.
do that.
Huh? Okay. Let me see if I can load the transcript for this.
Just to make very clear,
Yeah.
are we doing this to prove that one of us is right, or to prove that both of our interpretations are valid?
I don't believe your interpretation is valid. I don't think it can be supported at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I can take that challenge. So, do I just look at the transcript and do
Yeah, I'm
this,
gonna
or-
copy paste it for you in a second. Okay, hold on.
Cool.
Yeah, which is a painful
Right?
thing to
Because
deliver.
that's the only excuse you have left.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to find where this ends.
Oh yeah, I'm just freaked out that you're waiting for
Leben
me or
ist hart, ne?
something.
No, there's it.
Stressing the fuck out.
Things aren't always what they seem.
Be Millful.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I can just copy it
Come
myself.
closer.
Well, now I'm working on it. So,
30
oh
seconds
my God,
until
this is so
minions spawn.
fuck me. There's got to be like an
Idiots
easier
don't
way
learn.
to
So much more to see.
Minions have spawned.
Take careful steps. Venture off the beaten path. a busy world. Things aren't always what they seem. Come closer. So much more. Venture off the beaten path. The harvest is upon us. First blood. What lurks beneath the soil?
An enemy has been slain.
Wait until my seeds take root. Venture off the beaten path. Wait until my seeds take root.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Just a harmless flower. Such a busy world.
Learn what beauty truly is. I live for your cause. You will die for it.
Promising garden.
An ally has been slain. You have been slain.
The forest holds many surprises.
3, 4. You cannot stop me from killing
Come closer. So much more to see. Take careful steps.
Enemy double kill.
shall blossom from your fear.
Venture off the beaten path.
Rampage. An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Wait until my seeds take root.
You cannot outrun me. Has no meaning.
Unstoppable.
Just a harmless flower. Such a busy world.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
A promising garden.
An enemy has been slain. Come closer. Your team has destroyed a turret. So much more to see.
You've awoken something deep inside me.
Has been slain. Take careful steps. Dominating. Venture. Enemy has been slain. Wait until my seeds take root. A summoner has disconnected. Victory!
You can make a Google Doc that we can both edit.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, sorry. Are you fucking serious? Is there a way to like delete all numbers if I select a row? Do you think I'd be able to do that? Kind of?
No, no. I tried. You have to do it manually. It's awful. Wait, toggle timestamps. Ooh, you can toggle timestamps.
Yeah.
It does delete all the numbers.
Okay. Jesus. Okay, here you go. Oh, and I can't copy paste it over here. Fucking kill me, dude. I fucking hate synergy. Okay, there. Okay, this is the text, okay?
Mm-hmm.
held down, repeat. Okay. Don't worry, we'll get there in a minute. Okay. Okay, what is your like thesis? What do you think he's saying? Tell me this real quick.
Okay, do you want to just go over line by line?
No,
and
I just want you to
say
tell me so that
agree?
I'm gonna write something real quick, and then but I want you to tell me what your thought is, so I know what I'm arguing against real quick. I think I know. I just want you to state it again for me.
My interpretation of the entire thing was that Jordan Peterson was either implicitly or explicitly saying that there would be value in making rape of a woman a property crime against the men in her life.
Wait, but you don't. Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Okay. My argument is that Jordan Peterson, in that entire paragraph, either implicitly or explicitly, was making an argument for the benefits, maybe that helps, of making a rape of a woman a property crime against the men in her life.
When you say against the men in your life. Hold on, I'm sorry, hold on, 1 second, hold on. I'm sorry, hold on, give me 1 second. Destiny, you fucking moron, it clarifies literally his position in an instant unless you think Jordan Peterson's a liar. If you're tasked with writing an argumentative essay, given the text, you can't pull in outside stuff. You fucking retard. That's why I'm not going to his other fucking tweets or whatever. I think you can justify what he's saying in the text. I don't want 50 million other fucking things because I think it's justified with what's said right here. That's why I'm not linking external tweets. I go, oh look, I'm right. Because there could be another tweet that says something different, but that's not relevant to the conversation we're having. Holy shit. Fucking kill your video game, Hi, sorry. Okay. So you think he's saying that the thrust of your argument is that you think that he's saying that he just wants like men that own her or what?
Basically, yeah, reverting back to a time when a woman was a man's property, and then if you infringe on the woman, you are doing a property crime against the man.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay.
Ne. Ne, skirmish. Vieles auf Gold, Elo.
Okay. Okay, give me, okay.
Nö.
Read this, I've absorbed this into my brain. Okay, I see it now. Can you give me your justification
nicht
of
so
the text
der
where you
Hit,
feel like he's making the argument that she doesn't have any bodily autonomy? Because what you're making a few claims. He wants women, or he's arguing women should be the property of men.
Wait, just very quickly.
Yeah.
Are we removing the whole bullshit about he didn't actually say, are we addressing what he implicitly is saying or what he implicitly argues for, or because if not, then you're saying that I'm saying that he said that. Jordan Peterson is very good at avoiding accountability. So
Hold on, I think
there's
you guys...
an argument for this.
Yeah, okay. I think you guys have a problem where you see ghosts everywhere when it comes to Jordan Peterson. Instead of just taking him at face value, you're the one that's making the implication. That's what I have to, you're the one that, so if you want to go without implication, you ought to lose the argument, right? Well, I'm trying to find out where he's actually saying,
wait.
yeah.
Wait, I'm not you guys.
Well, when I say you guys, I'm saying like you're using things that I've heard progressives say in the past to avoid ever engaging with anything Jordan Peterson says. That he's very good at
I
not taking
understand.
accountability. Yeah, but that's not
I
an.
understand, but I feel like that's unfair towards me because I'm willing to do this exercise with you.
Ah,
And I
sicher,
even
Slims.
said, I'm gonna say, if you can say that these both arguments are valid, I think that's a very charitable interpretation, but I'll take it. You're the one that's saying that my interpretation is invalid.
Yeah, because I don't think there's anything here to support that he's saying women ought to be the property of men.
He would never say that. What he said is there were advantages, right? He says it's
Jetzt eine
worth
fucking Mission,
pondering
Alter.
the
Recht worden, oder
advantages
was?
before the sexual revolution.
And what
The
we're
transformation of rape being a property crime to a crime against the woman herself. This is all from the transcription.
okay.
Okay, so are we both on board that, I don't know if it was before the sexual revolution, he doesn't like the pill, whatever. Are we both on board that in the past, women were man's property and infringing on a woman was infringing upon a man's property?
Sure.
Awesome. So I feel like when he's saying one of the things that happened after the sexual revolution was the transformation from property infringement to rape being an offense against the woman herself. And this is all from the transcription.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. I see how you're reading it. I'll upgrade it to impossible to just incredibly uncharitable, but I guess I can give you that.
Okay. So, do you
Wait, hold on.
want
Let me just
to
I'm just
continue?
rereading the end
Okay.
of this one.
First blood. An ally has been slain.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll upgrade it to uncharitable. But go for it.
Okay. So, do we have to continue, or can I just address the uncharitable?
We can go wherever you want from here.
Cool. Can you just say that my interpretation isn't invalid then, just so I can have?
Well, that's why I said
it.
I upgraded you to uncharitable. I think it's an uncharitable interpretation.
Thank you. Okay, then my job here. No. Okay, cool. Do you think it's still uncharitable if I know Jordan Peterson's content, and in that, with that context in mind, like you argued earlier that depending on what you know about this person's opinion, you might have more inferences into what they're actually saying. Do you think it's still uncharitable? I guess you would say that because you think all of my interpretation of his other content is also skewed. Is that what you're gonna say?
If there was other content where Jordan Peterson is talking about or advocating for or making claims that women would be better off being property of men, then I would be more amenable to that position, but I'm not aware of that content.
Okay, so you don't think that if I generally could prove that Jordan Peterson has an issue with misogynistic ideas and a certain reverence to the patriarchy, that wouldn't be enough for me to infer that he could make the argument that women being men's property would be better for women?
No, that's way too detached.
Detached. Okay.
That like maybe some of the things I think he said in the past might have been misogynistic, therefore he's talking about how women should be property in our side. That's way too
That's
much.
not what I said.
Okay.
Right?
If we can
There's-
point to like something a little bit more specific where he said in the past, like, well, women, you know, when they're property of men, things go way better, or et cetera, et cetera. If he says things like this a lot, then I'm probably okay. Yeah, that maybe that's kind of what he's pushing at here, but
So reverence to the patriarchy is not enough as well.
no.
Okay. So this is where, and again, I'm enjoying this conversation, so try to not get triggered right now.
Try my hardest.
But okay, don't you think that if you're going to say that I'm uncharitable, you're being unbelievably charitable to the point of bias?
I don't know. I don't think so. Here's my issue. In analyzing all of this, has he said anything wrong?
Well, he couldn't have said anything wrong because he just said, "Let's think about this idea," right?
Well, no. He made a lot. He made a couple of claims in here. here. He asked us to consider some things.
Okay. Okay. I
Like here-
actually
like
like
here-
that you're asking this. I think that he's wrong to say that women would be safer. Wait, are we working off the assumption that we're doing property of men right now? Are we just considering that for the sake of the argument?
Let's just consider it a property rights
An
thing.
ally has been slain.
Because I think your body
no,
could be your
it
property.
matters.
No, that's what I'm saying. Let's just do where he's assuming that like your body is your property and you have like property rights or whatever about it.
Okay. I feel like that weakens my argument, but I feel like I could still make.
Okay, let's do property rights then. Let's just do full on property rights. If he's saying anything incorrect, let's like lower the woman as the property of the man.
Okay. If he's saying that the woman is the property of the man, and that somehow grants extra defense to women, that implies that currently the law says you cannot rape women because that's a violent crime. Well, it says you can rape, but yeah, so it's a violent crime. And he's saying if we changed it to how actually it's not a violent crime, it's just a property crime against men, rapists would be less inclined to rape, not because it's illegal, because they're both illegal, but because it's like a social pressure from not to anger the men. And that would protect women.
Yes.
You think that's valid?
What do you think? I'm asking you. Don't do that. I'm asking you if you think it's invalid. Tell me why. Don't just ask me incredulously and then move on.
What's incredulous?
Incredulously, because that statement seems self-evident to me. But it seems it's rough. But like for instance, like if I ask like, let's take like a racist person, a racist white man in the South, and bring back slavery, is a racist white man in the South more likely to protect his slave than he would be like a random black person on the street? The answer to that is probably yes. But I mean, like, it's obviously that's like it's a very extreme example. But yeah, go ahead. But tell me if you think it's wrong.
Example?
No,
Okay.
no. Let's stick with the ownership of the women one. Go ahead.
No, of course. I'm just saying that, like, my way of saying why it's not self-evident is to, like, throw at you a bunch of, like, examples for how that would not protect women.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So, if a woman is 90 years old and she doesn't have a husband or dad, what men are in her life supposed to be threatening her rapists?
Probably none, I would imagine, or family members.
Okay,
I guess,
so that
but-
doesn't protect her more, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. That's example number one. What about lesbian women? Are
Probably
they
also
still
not protected.
owned by their dad?
Probably not protected. Yeah.
Okay. Should I give more? You see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, I think you're making a really good point right now.
Thank you. And this is
I
all like
think
not
that-
addressing,
Yeah, that's
not
fine.
addressing the thing that really matters to me. That is like, I find it very morally abhorrent to think that.
Sure, but
property
we're not doing the, because the morally abhorrent stuff is the most thought-terminating, brain-dead shit in the world to go with any of these arguments. What you just brought up were really good points, though. Screaming that sounds like, oh, morally abhorrent, like no one fucking cares. It's so boring. But saying that like,
Can I ask you something?
yeah,
So I get that this is how you get your content, but like I've engaged completely with like trying to make the arguments that you want to make. So like
Sure.
when I just say, hey, I also think this is morally bad, like this isn't me falling into the stereotype of whatever you want me to do. I just like it was important for me.
sure, I understand you're saying that, but when you say something is morally abhorrent, all we're doing is hardcore begging the question. What we're saying is not persuasive to anybody, and it only signals to an audience that already agrees with us that we're on their side. That's why, like, if I'm making an argument about something, I've never been like,
I can explain to why it's morally abhorrent, but I think you know why.
yeah, but I don't care because you're gonna explain it to me, but I already agree with you, right? You're not gonna explain it to somebody that thinks that women should be property and then get them to agree with you because they're gonna say, oh, well, I disagree fundamentally. Men and women are different. Women are the property of men. They're like, there's that.
Well,
starting.
I would, but okay.
Okay.
Let's go back to
No,
when you
let
were
me just finish
complimenting
this
my
point,
point.
please,
It's
please,
fine.
please. Okay,
Yes,
holy
yes,
shit.
yes.
The argument of Jordan Peterson is making the argument that if women were property, it would protect them more from rape and sexual assault, okay? You bring up a
'Cause it
really
would
good
anger men,
counterpoint.
yes.
You bring up a good counterpoint that there are some women in society that fundamentally lack that male protection. Maybe older people that are widows that don't have husbands anymore. Maybe women that are not in relationships, or maybe women in relationships with other women. That's a really good counterpoint to what he's saying, and it would further the conversation. That'd be interesting. All I was saying is saying like,
Also
but
women
that's,
who are ostracized from the men in their lives.
yes. All I'm saying is that saying something is morally abhorrent is that's not like an argument or a response to anything. It's just like I just want you guys to know I'm on your side. I'm just saying it. That's the only reason I said that. The other points you brought up were just points. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. What's it? Okay. What's the next part you want to go to?
Okay, so we said that. So you asked me, is there anything wrong about what he's saying? Like, is he wrong?
Sure.
And
And you
I
just
just
brought up
said
3
yes.
counterexamples. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only other things I can think about in this part, because I actually sent you the sophisticated, non-sophisticated bullshit, which comes after this. But in terms of the whole like property discussion, yes, there's. Let me go over it in my head. There's the argument that some women do not have the protection of men. There's the moral argument that you don't want to talk about, that law and like we say that women deserve protection whether or not men like them or not. Do I have any more arguments that aren't moralistic?
I'm a weather woman.
Yeah, I guess it just confuses me. What would be the point of having law then? Because if we're just counting on the social pressure of men protecting the women in their lives, we can just have it so rape isn't illegal and just have it so whenever a woman is raped, the men in her life just go and execute the rapist. We don't need law.
Feeling, if I'm thinking of these things in principle, then the feeling isn't necessarily just having men personally in your life to go beat up people that are raping people. It's more broadly speaking, it's the idea that men in society having a buy-in to that particular topic means that you're more likely to see enforcement across the board because it's a thing that men will care about.
Okay, and again, I will just say, now you're not saying, oh, from the text that he's saying it's self-evident. Like, you're doing a lot of stretching here.
Well, he
It's not
literally
what
he
said.
literally used you literally used the expression in principle. I think he says that will bring the
Yes.
males on her side to her defense in principle.
Yeah, and you're saying, and this is, I
Habt ihr da den
know we
ganzen
already
Tag
knew,
oder was?
but
In
you
dem
think that the in principle is men care about property rights, because capitalism brain rot, I guess, or something. And my
Property
argument
has
is,
existed way before and after.
no, that's not what I'm saying. Oh
Okay.
my god. Okay.
I know you,
I
you
won't
made
make
a random
any
pebble
joke.
spin. Okay, sure, that's fine. Well,
I-
you're not
I
gonna
won't
make
make
like a.
any joke.
Okay,
Whatever.
thank you.
It's like, jeez, you are such a trigger. It's fine. I won't joke, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So you're saying it's about caring about property rights, like men care about that generally more than rape, and I'm saying men care about their property rights being protected. So I guess that would just be like a fundamental
The fuck is
that
this
we
game,
have on,
Alter?
which I thought we already like summarized.
Sure. Okay. Well, what's that next part?
Next part in this, or what? Do you want to go back to the clip I actually sent you that we were meant to talk about?
Yeah, if you want to. Sure.
The sophisticated one?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess the point, like if I were to conclude anything, is that the point that I'm trying to make is that earlier we talked, when you said, is that when Myron says something, you're gonna push back hard because you know Myron, you know what he's probably going and what he's trying to say, and you know Brittany, and you know where she's going, what she generally has in her head. So I think that considering, and I get that maybe you think it's invalid because you think progressives or leftists have like brain rot around Jordan Peterson. But if we just assume for a second that they are actually correct and he's a misogynist that reveres the patriarchy and wants to preserve it, that means that when you're there saying, well, this one thing that he said is correct, it might even be technically correct. I mean, when he tells you to make your bed, yes, that is a good advice. But generally speaking, when you support individual things out of context that he says, that does support like a greater narrative, especially if he uses those certain things, right? Like if you take this statement that he made and it has two valid interpretations, like you and I said, and then you say there was nothing wrong about what he said, to people like me, that sounds like you're okay with, you think it would protect women better if they were men's property.
Okay, this is okay. I think this mental gymnastics thing can only happen like on Twitter or in hardcore academia. I think that to most normal people, so this is like what's happening in your mind. You're saying that if you agree with statements that Jordan Peterson makes, even if those statements on their face are correct, you really have to take into account his full body work on understanding. And some statements that might be correct, you might also leave people.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh my god. Okay, restate it.
Okay, I'm saying if you take statements that Jordan Peterson is making at face value, while ignoring that he might making those exact statements with some implicit implications, that is what bothers.
Okay,
Right?
you just restated exactly what I was going to say. You're saying that we need to take into
Okay,
account the
then
full
I
context of
apologize.
everything Jordan Peterson is saying, because when you agree with some of his statements, there's going to be other times where he's making similar statements or statements like that, where he's like explicitly calling for way more misogynistic action, right?
Okay, I see why you think it's the thing. Okay, I'll
Okay,
agree
tell
with
me why.
that.
Okay. My problem is every single person on the outside is going to look at somebody saying something that's obvious, and you're going, well, no, I can't agree with that. That's wrong. And then nobody's going to want to listen to what you're saying. When I say you, I mean broadly speaking, like progressives. I think that's a huge issue that's going on. That people will say things like black people commit more crime than white people, or women tend to be weaker than men, or trans women are different than cis women. People will say things like this, and the argument is always like, well, no, actually, all of the police statistics are biased, so that's not true. Well, no, actually, women can be just as strong as men. Well, no, actually, there's like a caveat for every single thing, and I think
Can
most.
I ask you something?
Yeah.
Okay. So when somebody says 1350, first of all, do you think that's a dog whistle or not?
Yeah.
Just so I can know.
Yeah, it can be.
Okay. So let's say that there was a time where that statistic happened. I know there's some, whether it's like a consistent statistic or just like. Okay, well, and let's not do the 1350. Just black people in the United States do more crime, okay? When somebody says that, face value, it is a correct statement.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to say, face value is correct, what's the issue? When you're a smart person, so you know that most people who say that statement immediately follow with, and therefore we should ... and it's almost never good for black people.
Sure. But
I'm just...
I understand what you're saying.
Can I
but-
just finish my sentence?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I'm saying that certain things, when people say something, whether it's true or not, I'm asking myself, why are they saying this? And some of the times, and I'm not here to defend all progressives, I am myself. I think for myself, whether you or your audience believe that or not. And so sometimes I believe a person said something because they're trying to further a certain idea or agenda. And in that case, I'm not going to say that they are wrong, but I'm going to challenge what they're saying.
Okay. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. The problem with that is what I said before is the impression to every single person who is that you're running from the truth because you're trying to obscure the truth. That's the issue that you run into when you run away from dog whistles. I think rather than running from dog whistles, you should just accept that the statement is true, accept it on its face, and then push on the prescriptions that somebody makes after. 1350.
I agree with you.
Right, let me fucking finish, please. Okay. You don't agree with me because that's not what you said. You just said the exact opposite thing. You said that if you think that somebody has a bad intention or a bad prescription in mind at the end of it, that you're going to push back the entire time. You gave the exact opposite answer. Okay? So what I'm telling you is no, if somebody says 1350 or if somebody says some other drug, we say, okay, yeah, that's true. That is true. What do you want to do about it? And then you move on to the next part of the conversation and you fight them. You don't fight them descriptively at every single point they're making down the road because all that does is it gives the impression to everybody on the outside that, wow, this person is afraid of the truth. This person is pro-censorship. This person is somebody who's trying to hide what's reality, and then you lose all credibility, and then the dog whistlers win.
So, I misspoke if I gave you the impression that when I said I will fight them, I meant I will deny that black people do more crime statistically. I meant that I would be concerned about the implications of what they're saying. Because I think pointing out dog whistles is pointless and a waste of time, and you should just engage with people trying to imply that that means we should do X, Y, and Z.
Okay, if you agree with that, then we agree fully. But it sounded like you said literally the exact opposite thing earlier. But if that's what you agree with, then I agree with what you're saying. Sure.
Then, as I said, like if I gave you that impression, then I misspoke. That's not what I meant.
Okay.
Cool. So we agree on that. Do you want to do the unsophisticated bullshit?
Go for it. Yeah.
Awesome. that was a while ago. So we watched that part. Do you want to pull the transcript on it? Oh my god.
You can give me your impression of it, and we'll see where we disagree.
Okay, let me try to remember my exact critique on that. I was ignoring how weird it is to call it sophisticated and unsophisticated. Yeah. I guess, do you remember that video, generally speaking?
Didn't we just watch it? Am I crazy?
We did. I'm just making
Yes,
sure
I
that
remember.
you remember.
Yes, I watched
Okay,
it. Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Go ahead. I do remember.
Good. Because you said that you remembered the stealthing thing, and then you did. Okay, sorry. Okay. I think in some situations, what he said is pretty valid.
Okay.
There are absolutely times where some women lack the tools to properly set boundaries. And that can cause situations where they would be harmed at all, or more significantly, if they had more appropriate tools.
Okay.
100%. That was not the only thing he said, though. He made a pretty general, sweeping statement. And I thought especially was interesting the example that he gave about, like, the delivery guy at the door, and then, like, a quarter hour later or 45 minutes later, she's half naked on the couch because she was unsophisticated and didn't have the tools to say no. And then he says, "Is that rape?" ? Which I thought was hilarious.
Why is that hilarious?
Okay, well, let me tell you. Let's say there's a delivery guy at the door,
Yes.
and I think, oh my god, I can make a porn out of this.
Wait.
And I invite him in,
No.
and I want to have sex.
Wait. Hold on. No, wait. Hold on, because you're going to waste a whole bunch of time going down. Do you think he's saying in his mind that that the woman is trying to recreate a porn?
No, I'm not saying that. This is just my way of being flavorful. Why don't you listen to me?
Okay, sorry, go ahead, be flavorful. Just don't make any capitalism
Okay.
jokes, go ahead.
Thank you. So, okay. Okay. Somebody knocks at the door. It's a delivery boy. I think he's cute. I'm like, I'm down to fuck.
Okay.
Hey, come in. We start making out. I'm on the bed. I'm half naked. And then I realize that I'm hungry, and I've decided I don't want to fuck.
Okay.
Now we're exactly in the same position as Jordan Peterson's story, except that in my story, I was into it until I'm not, and in his story, she was never into it.
Okay.
So now, if we keep going, and I inform him that we keep going, is that rape?
Like if you tell him stop, I want to go eat?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. It is rape, not
Yeah.
probably, but okay. So basically my question is that, considering the example Jordan Peterson is giving, I'm confused about, like, what is the implications to
Wait, in Jordan
situations-
Peterson's example, the girl never says no. No?
Well, we don't know. He gave a vague example, right?
The whole point of his argument was that the woman was too unsophisticated and didn't lack the tools to stop the interaction once it had gotten off the tracks.
Well, no, actually. His whole point is that sophisticated women stopped the interaction very early on before the pushing game starts.
Yes.
And that is the issue that I take. Because we can talk about situation, because the distinction that he's making between sophisticated and unsophisticated is women who are saying very early on, no, don't do this because we don't want men to push, right? But this doesn't address situations where you are going and things are murky.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't address every single situation ever, of course. It's not meant to address every single situation or what it's like to stop a sexual interaction in the middle. That's not what he's addressing here. That's not what the conversation is
Okay.
about.
Can you pinpoint it to me then what he's exactly addressing?
I haven't seen this full video. I've only seen the parts that you sent me, but it sounds
Okay.
like in this video, what he's talking about is what is necessary to protect women in society from getting raped. And then he's giving the example that just giving women full autonomy and allowing them to dictate the terms on their own doesn't work necessarily all the time, because when unsophisticated women and unsophisticated men come together, it's easy for the man to push that into an interaction that is unfavorable to the woman. That's what it sounds like he's saying. That's what I got from it.
Okay. But basically, what he's saying. Okay.
Wait, can you tell me if you disagree with anything that I just said there, or something that seems off or wrong?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you for a minute so I can
Go for
ask
it.
myself that question.
Okay.
I agree with what you said. I disagree that that was the only thing that was conveyed through his speech.
What else do you feel he conveyed?
Okay. Whew. Jordan Peterson, for example, gives an example about, about abused women and how he worked in his clinic with a lot of unsophisticated women,
Yes.
quote unquote,
Mhm.
and they were being abused repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, his argument is that potentially, if they were sophisticated women, they would be abused less.
Yes, this is like my stealthing argument going back to that, where I tweeted at that one woman that if you've been raped like 4 times in a row, you should probably stop having casual sex, essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, now you triggered me. Can I ask you something about that?
Go for it.
Okay. What is your prescription if she was raped 4 times, but it wasn't she was having casual sex?
Whatever she's doing probably needs to stop, because you're probably a huge outlier at that point if you've gotten raped 4 times by the time you're 23, 24 years old. Something
Okay.
is bad in your behavior, or hold on, sorry, that would sound like victim blaming. You're making suboptimal choices,
wenn sie nicht
and
wieder, ja.
you're selecting for something that's not good, and you need to figure out how to not select for that.
Okay.
The forest told
Do you
Frodo
know
to
that
rise.
statistically a woman who is raped once is likely to be raped more than once?
Are you saying that it is the case if they're raped once, they're likely to be raped more than
30
once?
seconds until minions
I think
spawn.
what I read, and I can pull it up, is 1 out of 2 women who were raped would be raped at least once more.
That isn't surprising to me, yeah. I think that coincides with what I feel and with what Jordan Peterson is saying, yeah.
Okay, so you feel like that statistic
Take
actually
careful
emboldens your
steps.
argument that when
Oh
that
no, this is
something is
fucking
happening with
Demon
these
Blade.
women, that they end up in situations that make them more vulnerable to that happening.
That would be
Minions
my
have spawned.
guess, yeah.
Anti-Lehnen ist für uns beide scheiße.
Whew. Let me think how I want to
Yorick,
respond.
musste. Yorick gewinnt eigentlich ziemlich schnell gegen Gnar, wenn er nicht 3-mal gekillt wird im Early.
Just give me 30 more seconds.
What the fuck? Bist du mit den Akku?
So,
What
if
the
we
fuck is
say
happening?
that 1 out of 6 women is raped,
I don't know if
It's a
that stat
thing.
is true, but I'll grant it to you, go ahead.
Promising god.
That's like
that
that.
is my charitable one. I had 3 sources. One of them says 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, and 1 out of 4. So
The 1 out of
I'm
6
giving
one
you
comes
the
from
1
like
out of
Okay,
a college
natürlich
campus.
läuft der noch in den
There's
Power.
like sexual assault as well, but it's fine, go ahead.
I can give you that source.
Keine Ahnung.
I'll grant you
Sowas
that,
nicht
of course,
punished.
but I want to make my position, okay? I now believe it, but go ahead.
Okay, if 1 out of, let's say 8, 1 out of 8 women is raped, and then 1 out of 2 women who were raped,
So much more to
it will be raped at least once more.
Okay.
Is it legitimate to call that an outlier?
But by definition, it sounds like you're telling me, statistically speaking, if you've been raped 1 time, you're more likely to get raped again than by somebody who hasn't been raped before. So, by definition, it seems like a person that's been raped is in some way has a disposition. Now that could be environmental, it could be choices, it could be a whole bunch of things.
Echo war
But
ganz
that
kurz
person
im
somehow has a
Nachhinein.
disposition towards being raped a second time. That's what it sounds like based on the stat you just gave me. I don't know if that stat is true,
Okay.
but you've given it to me, but it seems to say that.
I can send you all of the stats that I'm
Sure.
using.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to fight with that stat because it feels to me like it's bolstering my argument, so I'm waiting for you to tell me.
Okay, so I think the argument I'm trying to construct is that because rape is so common, it would be a bit strange to say that, like, if rape is incredibly prevalent, and by incredibly prevalent I mean, let's say 1 out of 8 women, which is really high. Do you disagree with that?
I don't,
That
but
that's
I
a
mean,
lot?
like, or no,
Okay.
I think that is a lot. But like the question before you go on, my question is going to be, it's 1 out of 8 women getting raped. What's happening with the other 7? Are they just really lucky?
Yes, that would be my argument.
Okay, that sounds
Well, that's a bit reductionist.
okay.
I'd say they are either really lucky, really privileged, or they are limiting themselves in a lot of ways.
You don't think that feels a little disempowering?
What do you mean?
That the only way to not get raped as a woman is to just be lucky?
An enemy has been
I agree that it's disempowering, but weren't you the one? Okay, so I'm looking at statistics and I'm drawing off of like experiences that I've had and that I've talked to women about, right? So that's what I'm going off of. And so earlier you talked about if you're going to see something that is just true, you're not going to say it's not true just to, I don't know, make a point or to make yourself feel better. So statistically, if you're not raped or sexually assaulted or whatever the fuck, you're pretty lucky. Yeah.
Well, no,
That's
well,
the
depends on how you read that. Right now, it's 'cause
Okay.
more people don't get raped than get raped, right? And also, we're not talking about just a stat now. We're looking for an explanation of the stats, right? There is no stat. Well, we'd have to do like a more sophisticated data analysis to prove who's getting lucky versus unlucky. But it's not like saying that like 1 out of 6 women get raped, therefore you're just lucky to not get raped, right? Like I could probably give you stats on drunk driving, but it's not like whether or not you get into a drunk driving accident. It's just whether you're lucky or unlucky. It probably has to do with whether or not you're drinking and driving, right?
Okay. Well, let me then clarify. There are demographics that are more likely to experience sexual violence than other demographics.
Okay.
To say that that has to do with their behavior is a bit questionable. If you want me to list some of those demographics, I can.
Well, so Jen, just to clarify, to get the other understanding, you're saying that there are no behaviors that can increase or decrease the likelihood of you being assaulted?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, that's basically like the logical conclusion of what you're saying, but tell me why not. Or I'll
Okay.
rephrase real quick. You're saying that like whether or not you get raped or don't get raped is a matter of luck. And that if it's a matter of luck, then
Not
it's not
just. That's not.
So much
I've
more.
I've corrected myself. I
Okay.
think it's absolutely a matter of luck, but there are also factors that affect that. One of them is your behavior. Another one is your circumstances. There are a few others. But yeah, luck is also involved, obviously.
Sure, okay. Well, if that's your position, then you've come around. Now this is my position exactly, so now you agree with me.
Okay. I think that's true, but I think where we differ is that I think you expect potentially more for people to take actions that you believe would really reduce their likelihood of experiencing sexual violence, and I am dubious about whether or not those actions really hold the weight that you believe that they do.
What are some actions that you think I've recommended that you don't think would be protective at all? I'm curious.
Couldn't be protective at all. I think everything could be protective. So I
Protective,
wouldn't-
when I say protective, I'm using that word to mean that this is an action you could take that would reduce the likelihood of you being raped or
Forest
assaulted.
holds many surprises.
So, do you think I've given advice, or I've said these are some things you can do to prevent or reduce the likelihood of you getting raped? Do you think there are statements I've made where that's just not true?
No, that's not what I'm saying, right? I don't know all the statements that you made, but I assume every statement that you made about something that could reduce your likelihood of getting experiencing sexual violence is true. I'm saying my critique, or I guess my contention, is that, again,
Just a harmless flower.
Okay, can I just use an example? Or do you want me to complete that sentence?
Knock yourself out. Example away. Go for it.
Okay. Do you agree that if all women stayed at home, that would reduce the likelihood of them not being sexually assaulted?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Would you recommend that?
No.
Okay. That is basically an extreme example and a nutshell of my general critique.
Sure.
I
So
think-
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna circle back now, and I'm gonna ask you: do you feel like I've given some piece of advice that is unreasonable? Or I've said something like, "Women, just stay home." Have I ever given a piece of advice that maps on you?
Things aren't always what they seem.
No. I do think, however, that from the way that you speak, you put a lot of weight on the concept of casual sex in terms of a preventative measure. More
no.
weight than it deserves.
No, I love casual sex, and I don't want people to stop having casual sex. I don't put any weight on it at all, and most of the advice I give is usually to facilitate more casual sex, because I think everybody should fucking, but it's usually to do it in a safer manner. So here's an example, and if you think of one I didn't bring up, tell me. Here are some examples of advice I give. One, don't have a stranger, somebody you're meeting for the first time, pick you up in their car. Two, don't ever meet somebody at a place you're unfamiliar with. Go to a public place, it's somewhere you're familiar with. Meet somebody for coffee or lunch or something in a public area. Three, give a friend an address. If you're gonna go hang out with a guy or spend the night somewhere, give a friend an address, tell them to check on you at midnight to make sure everything is okay. Four, don't ever bring a guy back to your house, ever. There's no reason to do it. Find a cheap hotel or someplace like that to meet if it's somebody that you don't know or it's somebody new. Five, don't do illegal substances. I shouldn't say illegal. Don't do any like mind-altering substances with somebody for the first time that you're with them. Or if you are going to go out drinking or something, do it in a relatively public area. Keep your drink covered. Like, these are pieces of advice that I would give. Is there anything here that feels like really restrictive or unfair or like, oh my god, it's crazy that you would ever tell a woman to do that?
Well, it's not about restrictive, right? Because all of those things are like valid advice. But let me ask you a question then. If a person has experienced sexual violence and they did not engage in one of those advices that you would give, you would say that what?
Next time do this so you can reduce the likelihood of you being assaulted or attacked.
Okay. So that's fine. But then if that happens more, you would identify a pattern that they have?
If they're going out, they're getting raped over and over and over again, I'd be like, yeah, you probably need to chill.
Getting raped. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's happening over and over again, you're selecting for something that's not normal, right? You're part of the 1 out of 8 instead of 7 out of 8. So you need to figure out how to not be in that 1 out of 8.
Is that just in terms of casual sex?
I mean, it could be in terms of relationship sex, but relationship sex and getting raped in a relationship is that's a whole different ballgame, right? Like, I'm not going to give you the
I
advice
agree.
of like, don't go home with your husband or meet your husband in a public area or phone. Like that doesn't work at that point. Then it gets into a
I
more
agree.
yeah. So no, all the advice I just gave there was, well, because initially you said that I seem to blame a lot on casual sex, and most of the advice I give is actually centered around casual sex. So
Yes.
yeah.
No, I didn't say that you blame casual sex. I said that I feel like you put a lot more weight on how casual sex increases the prevalence of sexual violence than what it actually does. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not sure if that's
I can even demonstrate why that's true.
why. Wait, why
Well-
I made that statement? Because I think I probably could have made that statement. It seems logical to me that more casual sex, more people having sex in general, probably means there's more people getting sexually assaulted. Just by running the numbers, I'm gonna guess. But
Yes. But statistically, what is that? Can you give me 1 second? Because I don't want to misquote.
you have all the seconds you need, okay?
I might need more than 60.
Wait until my seeds take root.
An ally has been
More than
slain.
1 in 3 women in the United States have experienced rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner in their life.
Wait, I'm sorry.
guess
Hold on. Wait,
stalking
wait.
does
Wait.
feud.
Say that thing again.
More than 1 in 3 women in the United States have experienced rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner in their life.
Okay.
Stalking
That's
does skew this.
Yeah. So this is sexual assault. Like if I walk into the kitchen one day and I smack Melina on the ass and she's like, "Hey, I'm not in the mood right now." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, was that sexual assault? Would that get included in this? I'm not sure. But go ahead. I'll follow with what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's exactly what you can read out of that, but
Well, I don't know if there
I-
are metrics or for methodologies for considering sexual assault. If it's like a reported
I'll-
thing,
I'll
right? But
send you
I'll be charitable and I'll just assume it is. But go ahead. What's your point?
so basically my point is that of course if nobody had sexual casual sex, there'll be a lot less rape. But there would still be a significant amount of rape because a lot of rape happens inside intimate partner relationships.
It could be.
A
My
lot
guess is
more.
going to be that.
Wait. The only point I'm making is that in the current discourse that we're having on YouTube and Twitch, it's much easier to focus on like casual sex because there's easy advice you can give and just tell women, hey, if you do this, you're
Wait,
less
okay, this is
likely
not relevant to
be
the point we're making. Okay, back to what you were saying before. Okay, it is possible. It is possible that there is that rape and sexual assault occurs within the confines of a relationship. I'm not going to deny that, of course. But I find it hard to believe that there was more going on when people had fewer sexual partners than now when people have more sexual partners. Because it feels like more sexual partners, just by running the numbers, you're more likely to run into an adverse sexual scenario than when you had just a couple sexual partners.
Yeah, and my argument that from the statistics that I've looked at, it seems possible that the difference is not as big as you portray it to be.
Okay, I'd be interested in seeing like a stat or number that proves that, but I don't think I've seen any.
I'd
thus
love
far.
to send it to you.
Wait, what do you have? Because it's not what you just described doesn't make that argument as strongly as you seem to think it does.
No, I know, I have a few.
Okay.
Do you want me to read you another one then, or I just
Well, do you have
feel
one
like
that directly plays into this, or?
let me look.
Or here's a question: if we were to poll women today, do you think that the likelihood of you having a non-consensual sexual interaction increases or decreases with more partners? What do you think?
Wait. I was looking for something, and you speak really fast. So
Yep,
please
let's
talk
say
again.
If we were to look at women today and poll them, do you think the likelihood of you having a non-consensual sexual interaction increases or decreases with more partners?
Can you define more partners?
More people whose dicks are around, in and around your body. Well, I mean, what do you mean more partners? More
Oh,
sexual.
come on.
What do you? More sexual partners? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I just mean because a lot of the rape statistics are around like meeting an acquaintance or like having a friend rape you or something like that. So if your sexual partner is someone that you've known for a year, that's different than someone you met on Tinder, right?
Yeah.
Wieso war der so schnell?
Yeah. So I was asking like if it's just like I fuck 5 dudes a week and I met each of them that day like on Tinder versus like if I have 2 fuck buddies that I know for a long time.
Spielt nicht mein
I
Gesicht.
feel like I feel okay. Well, that would be. I bet we could Google it and find out.
Careful steps.
Okay, you can do that. I was gonna look through my source anyway, so I don't know.
Hold on.
But I'm open to that statistic.
Kannst du Harry rotieren?
Okay. Likelihood of non-consensual sexual interaction versus number of partners. Oh, do More partners equal more risk. In previous studies on sexual partners, sexual centers was examined as independent risk factors. Sexual victimization on college women. You sampled 335 college women. This study examined the interaction of number of sexual partners, sexual centers, and verbal sexual rape. 32% of the sample reported unwanted sexual intercourse. 6.9% experienced verbal sexual coercion. As the number of sexual partners increased, incidence of verbal sexual coercion increased for women low in relational sexual assertiveness, but not for high in relational sexual assertiveness. A similar relationship was not found for rape among women who experienced both verbal sexual coercion and rape. Increases in the number of partners in the context of low refusal and relational assertiveness were associated with increases in verbal sexual coercion and rape. Findings suggest sexual assertiveness is related to their experiences of sexual coercion. So this study's, if I'm just going to make it abstract, seems
Wie
to
hat der
say that
Stack noch gesagt?
well, one claim it's making is that being more sexually assertive decreases the amount of sexual coercion, which is kind of the point that Jordan Peterson was making, that a more sophisticated woman. What?
I have a way to
Wait,
help.
hold on, wait. Let me just finish reading this, okay? Hold on.
I want to concede your point. Okay, whatever.
Okay, go ahead. If you want to concede the point, I guess go. No, actually, I don't care if you're conceding it, because now I want to know. As the number of sexual partners increased, instances of verbal sexual coercion increased for women low in relational sexual assertiveness, but not for women high. A similar relationship was not found for rape among women who experienced both verbal sexual coercion and rape. Increases in number of partners in the context of low refusal and relational assertiveness were associated. Increases of verbal sexual. Okay. As
Venture off the beaten path.
okay, so it seems like an increase in the number of partners. This seems like it's saying it does increase the verbal sexual coercion and rape. It seems like it is associated with an increase. That's what it seems like this says.
Well, luckily,
Okay.
I was going to say that I have no problem saying that if you have more partners than less partners, that would increase the likelihood of experiencing sexual violence. My argument is that it does not increase it to such a high degree that it is reasonable to give it the focus or attention that it deserves. I have theories of why we do that, but yeah, that's my argument.
Okay. That might be true.
Yeah, for example, we never talk about, I just pulled up this new statistic. It says that 1 out of 10 women have been assaulted by an intimate partner in their lifetime.
Okay.
That's a lot.
True, but that's less. That's less than how many have been raped. Because the other numbers you gave me were 1 in 4, 1 in 5, and 1 in 6 or something. If only 1 in 10 are raped by an intimate partner, then it sounds like having everybody just doing intimate partner sex decreases the overall. It's really inappropriate to tie these two stats together because you'd have to do more analysis. But like on its face, it seems to say that your chances of getting raped by an intimate partner are far less than.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, since we've already conceded that like the more partners you have, it might increase it. Then let's say, because the 1 in 6, for example, is a combination of the rape inside intimate partner relationship and the casual sex. So I'm saying that I agree with you that maybe, or not maybe, because I'm conceding your point. So having more partners increases the risk, but I do not believe that it increases it to a point where if we like got rid of casual sex, yes, there'll be less rape, but there'll still be a very high prevalence of it. And
Yeah, I don't think
critique is that we don't talk about that.
Sure, I don't think we shouldn't talk about it because I don't like hiding from problems. I think you probably say that like casual sex brings with it some additional risks. You ought to be aware of those risks. That would be my position on that.
Yeah, of course. I'm just like, and this isn't even like a critique of you. I just have a specific issue with how this space doesn't address like intimate partner rape, for example, which is still 1 in 10 is a lot.
Okay.
And we never address it because there are no easy solutions like don't go into a hotel instead of going into your house. It's a bit more complicated than that.
Sure.
But yeah. Yes.
Wait until my
What else
seeds
do I
take
have?
root.
Oh my god. This wasn't what I wanted. you some question about progressives now?
Sure thing.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
Venture off the beaten
You probably don't remember any critiques that I levied at you, but if you do you think I ever like gave you criticism that was like inappropriate?
That's a weird question. I mean, like, you can make whatever criticism you want. That's one thing I'm never gonna think of criticism.
Okay, so invalid. Does that matter?
What are you asking me? It's hard. Like, all criticism is valid. If somebody says, Destiny, you should be nicer to people. That's like quote unquote valid criticism. I wasn't care to like apply it to my life. I don't even mean like a valid or invalid criticism. If you make a descriptively wrong claim like Destiny, your advice made 5,000 women get raped and impregnated by, you know, then that would I would disagree with that. But like if you make criticism like, oh, like I think that this type of stuff is harmful to women or progressives, like it's much harder to say like, oh, that's invalid critique. I don't know how I would say that's valid or invalid.
Okay. So I'll just move on to my next question then.
Sure.
Can you tell me what are, and if you have, oh my god, this is about the sexual mix. Okay, I'll just ask you this because we were already on topic. Do you have any stated goals about, like, in terms of your discourse around sexual assault and rape and all that kind of stuff? Like, a direct stated goal? Because when I criticized you for the stealthing thing, most of my critique was about how I thought your rhetoric was harmful and contributing to a culture that ends up resulting in bad things for women.
Sure. My position
but
is
if
that...
you tell me that's not my goal and I just want to speak freely, then I can't criticize you for
Sure.
that.
My position is that I think that women can assert way more agency in how they approach sex, and I think it would dramatically increase the odds of them having positive sexual experiences, or at the very least decrease the chance of them getting raped. And I think that men can do a lot to be more aware of the complicated interactions between women and safety and sexual pleasure and everything during intercourse, such that it would reduce them having negative sexual interactions or them making a woman feel pressure to rape. Yes.
That's not what I asked. Okay. So
My goal is less rape. If that's what you're, if you want like 2 words, less rape is the goal.
okay, then I'll continue to criticize you.
Okay.
Do you feel like, okay, so a lot of my critique about you has also been that I feel like as a content creator of your size, you have certain responsibilities about things that you say and how you talk about them. So, i.e., a bit like what you and I talked about Jordan Peterson, for example. So I think if Jordan Peterson has like harmful ideas and you say, I'm a progressive, for example, but then some of your behaviors or the things that you're saying are giving him legitimacy, then I would see that as a contradiction.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I'll give, if somebody makes a point that I agree with, I'll give them props for the point that I agree with. I just go point by point. I try not to like think of like this is a bad person, so I'm never gonna agree with anything they say.
Okay. Is there a difference between agreeing with like the point that they say and between like legitimizing them?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about legitimizing. If somebody's making good points, I'll legitimize it. That's something that makes sense.
Okay. I see. This might be a weird question, but like, how much do you cater to your chat?
Wait until my
If you do.
Not at all. If I did, I would never play League or StarCraft.
Okay. The last question I have is I want to talk to you about the panel, the progressive panel that we were both on.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna ask you a question, and you can refuse to answer that because it's me basically using your combative nature to potentially set up a ground for me.
Okay. Go for whatever you want. Go for it. Not
Okay. What did you think about Bree?
Bree. Is this the one that you and I were on? Wait, when? Fuck, I don't remember which person is this. Sorry.
The one where you fought with President Sunday.
Yeah, wait, who was Bree? Oh, Brianna.
Brianna.
Okay, sorry, yeah. I mean, I thought she was great. Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel like she made any points?
You gotta do there. I don't know what this question is. Do you feel like she made
Okay.
any points? She made a lot of points.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Are you try? I think the road that you're walking us down painstakingly slowly is do you feel like Brianna made any good points about critiquing the rhetoric that you use to engage with people, and do you think that you could be
Oh God, no, I don't care about that.
okay,
I don't
then
know
get
what the
to
fuck
whatever
this
you're
is.
going to, because holy shit, these questions are. Did Brianna make any points? Yeah, of course she did.
Okay, I did. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. You talk a lot about how you don't like purity testing and virtue signaling and all that crap. And
do.
2 weeks before the progressive panel, that's exactly what Brianna was doing in terms of the Hogwarts Legacy thing.
Yeah.
So I thought that her coming on the panel and saying that like us who cares about stuff like that is silly and we should coalition build, when it was in direct contrast to everything she has done just 2 weeks prior, was hypocritical. Do you feel like that?
Yeah. I made the same thing. I made that statement on stream, actually. I actually made that statement, I think yesterday or the day before. I was talking to, I think, Erudite about her, and I was curious, like, is Brianna trying to make a more, like, effective rhetorical swing or what? And Brianna made a big post on my subreddit trying to explain, I guess, her changing of her rhetoric. So, yeah. But I mean, I made that super.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Okay. Good. I don't have anything else. I assume you don't have any questions for me. Oh yeah, I do have a question. Never mind. I'm sorry. I don't care. Sorry. There was a point that you made, or I guess that a lot of people made for you, about how you, first of all, you realized that on that panel when I asked you if you're progressive and you said yes, I wasn't like contesting that, right? Like if you say that you're progressive, then you're progressive.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I just judge you on progressive, what I think are progressive standards then.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I heard a lot of people say that since you do a lot to promote progressive causes, or because you have done a lot for progressivism, that somehow
Things aren't always what they seem.
makes you a progressive.
Okay.
And I was wondering, like, if you thought that, for example, if Rupert Murdoch donated a lot to, like, a trans charity and went canvassing in Georgia for, like, a Democratic candidate, that would make him a progressive because he does a lot for progressive causes.
Well, you just said two different things. Does a lot for progressive causes is different than one going to donate. If you started donating a fuck ton of progressive causes, progressive, that'd be my guess. If he just does it one time, I'd assume that there was a candidate he was supporting for a particular reason.
I guess what I'm trying to ascertain is, like, if a person has a certain, like, ideology that they believe in, but their actions support a different ideology, what are they? Are they the thing that their actions support, or are they what they believe?
The thing that I don't know how you can believe something and your actions support something different. I don't know what that would look like.
Okay,
Like I'm trying to think, like, imagine like Nick Fuentes, like imagine we full dox him and we found out he like volunteers at like a black and underprivileged homeless shelter like every single year. I probably wouldn't care about his stated beliefs at all then. I'd be like, oh wow, this guy's actually a lot different than I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's more about actions for you.
yeah, for sure.
For sure. Okay. So, if a conservative figure turns out, and they are generally like against like gay people, and then you find out that they are gay, and they are secretly married to a gay person or something like that, that would be like, would that also delegitimize them, or would that make them pro-gay?
No, because just being gay doesn't necessarily make it.
Okay. So for you, generally,
Okay, sorry, it's fine. I mean,
Okay.
I think we could come up with some like very crazy, wacky examples where maybe this wouldn't necessarily hold true. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what my response would be.
The reason why I kind of went down this route is because when people told me that you've done a lot for progressive causes and stuff like that, it's like, yes, I believe in that, and I also like kind of changed my perspective on some of the stuff I said last year. But I feel like if somebody says that they're a liberal, a progressive liberal, for example, and they state what they believe in, but then they also do things that I feel like sabotage the cause or that are not as dedicated to the cause, then that's for me actions that vote to the contrary. But it is balanced out by a lot of things that you do. So I just wanted to hear like how much that balances out for you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I imagine that like you could have somebody that's a stated progressive, but they like do a bunch of shit that's contrary to the progressive movement, and you'd probably
Exactly.
Sure, that's possible. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I have. Do you have anything?
Nope. Anything else?
A lot of people told me that it was really funny. A lot of people wanted me to reach out to you and like tell you about all like my mental health stuff because you'd find it interesting, and then I could get it in with you. And I thought that was really kind of yikesy, and I thought it would be funny to tell them.
Wait, what mental health stuff?
Just like my mental health.
Oh, they wanted you to present yourself as a crazy girl.
I guess they wanted me to tell you some of my history or something like that. No, like pique your interest or something.
Does it
But
rhyme with ABC? BPD?
It's
Yes.
What do you?
okay,
What are
that's
you
fine.
asking
Never
me?
mind. Okay. Yeah, that's
Okay.
my community being dumb. Don't worry about it.
Okay, sure. That's funny.
Such a busy
Why do you have a
world.
thing with BPD that I'm not aware of?
You know, sometimes I'm not even aware of it, you know? It's just life.
That's funny. Okay. Then thank you.
Yep, no problem. Have fun. If there's ever anything else, just poke me, and we can hop on. We can scream at each other, okay?
Awesome.
All right, have fun. Bye.
Bye.
Garden.
Jesus.
Things aren't always what they seem. Just wait.
Can I?
So much more.
I'm so sorry. I don't understand this. Given no other information, why the fuck do you guys spell Steven with a PH? It's so fucking stupid. I don't understand why you guys do this. I see people like talk about me sometimes on other places. Like, oh, you talk to Stephen Bonnell. Stephen Bonnell. Why do you guys put the PH? I so don't understand why you fucking morons do this. I want to. If I could ban people from the other forums, I would do it. It's disgusting. Okay? Christ Almighty. Because of Hawkins? Stephen Hawkins? How the fuck are you gonna take advice on how to spell somebody's name from a guy who can't even write his own name? Okay? Listen, alright? It's with a V. Don't be fucking weird about it. Plus, he's dead. L. Okay? Oh, Jesus. Okay. Give me a second, we're gonna... Oh, you guys hear AI 18? AI 18? AI 18? Yes, thank you. Actually, let me just read this for because these articles always sit up forever. Fucking thing. I just need to read this. Okay. On the sunny first day of seminar, I sat at the end of a pair of picnic tables with nervous, excited 17-year-olds. 12 high school students have been chosen by the Telerude Association through a rigorous application process. The acceptance rate is reportedly around 3%. We spent 6 weeks together taking a college-level course, all expenses paid. The name of this article is A Black Professor Trapped in Anti-Racist Hell by Vincent Wade. Written about a week and a half ago.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
The group reminded me of the heroes of the mysterious Benedict Society books I was reading to my daughter. Each teenager, brought together for a common project, had some extraordinary ability and some quirk. One girl from California spoke and fought at machine gun speed and started collecting pet snails during the pandemic. Now she had more than 100. A girl from a provincial school in China had never traveled to the United States, but had mastered unaccented English and was in love with E.M. Forster. In addition to the seminar, the students practiced democratic self-governance. They lived together and set their own rules. Those first few days, the students were exactly what you would expect. At turns bubbly and reserved, all of them curious, playful, figuring out how to relate to each other and to the seminar texts. 4 weeks later, I again sat in front of the gathered students. Now, their faces were cold, their eyes down. Since the first week, I had not spotted one smile. Their number was reduced by 2. The previous week, they had voted 2 classmates out of the house. And I was next. Each student read from a prepared statement about how the seminar perpetuated anti-black violence in its content and form, how the black students had been harmed, how I was guilty of countless microaggressions, including through my body language, and how students didn't feel safe because I didn't immediately correct views that failed to treat anti-blackness as the cause of all the world's ills. This might be just another lament about woke campus culture and the loss of traditional educational virtues, but the seminar topic was race and the limits of law in America. 4 of the 6 weeks were focused on anti-black racism. The other 2 were on anti-immigrant and anti-indigenous racism. I am a black professor. I directed my university.
So, ich gehe jetzt aber ins Bett. Gute Nacht dir.
User disconnected from your channel.